Okay, folks, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ask for a moment of silence, please. Okay, I want to thank you. Everyone's here. Everyone's going to be watching or is watching now. Start the roll call. I'm going to start with Commissioner Culberson today.
Here.
Commissioner Cos.
Here.
I'm here. Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Stephen.
Here.
Here. Okay, before we go any further on public comment, I don't think we have any. I just want to, and I know we all feel this way, everyone knew about the unexpected death of Deputy Chief Major Jeff Dedeke, someone I've known in my law enforcement days for many years, died unexpectedly over the weekend. And I just wanted to, it's like losing a family member because we're all out here in the county employees and the county itself are all family. And I just want to send my heartfelt prayers to Andy and Larry and the entire family about how much we respected him and how we're going to miss him. So. With that, I'll start. Was there any public comments, Mark? Okay. Administrative business. I'll start with, we have two proclamations. Always enjoy reading these. First one is World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. To all citizens of Leavenworth County, greetings. Whereas June 15th is recognized internationally as World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, and its recognition will promote a better understanding of abuse and neglect of older adults. And whereas as our population lives longer, we are presented with an opportunity to think about our collective needs and future as a nation. And whereas ageism and social isolation are major causes of elder abuse in the United States, and whereas recognizing that it is up to all of us to ensure that the proper social structures exist so people can retain community and sexual connections, reducing the likelihood of abuse, and whereas preventing abuse of older adults through maintaining and improving social support like senior centers, human services, and transportation will allow everyone to continue to live as independently as possible and to continue the life and vibrancy of our community. Now, therefore, I, Mike Smith, Chairman of Leavenworth County Commissioners, Leavenworth County, at the request of the Leavenworth County Council on Aging, do hereby proclaim June 15th, 2022 is World Elder Abuse Awareness Day in Leavenworth County and urge all residents to recognize and celebrate older adults. Their outgoing contributes to the success and vitality of the community. Dated on this day, June 15, 2022, Mike Smith, Leavenworth County Chair. I always enjoy reading that.
I think we need to recognize Connie and her staff for everything they do.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
The Council on Aging and for our seniors.
She wants to say.
Connie, you make sure everyone gets passed on because I know there's a lot of volunteers. I know there's a lot of staff that do everything like that. We can tell by the numbers increasing what you're doing, so thank you. The other proclamation I'll read is, whereas President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863, declaring the slaves of Confederate territory free, paving the way for the passing of the 13th Amendment, which formally abolished slavery in the United States of America. And whereas word about the signing of the proclamation, was delayed some 2.5 years to June 19th, 1865, in reaching authorities and African Americans in the South and Southwestern United States. And whereas the Emancipation Day observations are held on different days in different states in the South, Southwest, and other parts of the nation. And whereas the June 19th has a special meaning to African Americans and is called Juneteenth, combine the word June and 19th, and has been celebrated by the African community for over 150 years. Now, therefore, I, Mike Smith, Chairman of the Leavenworth County Commission, declare June 19th, 2022 as Juneteenth in the county of Leavenworth, Kansas, and urge all citizens to become more aware of the significance of the celebration in African American history and the heritage of our nation, our county. In witness whereof I have set my hand and caused the seal of the Leavenworth County, Kansas, to be affixed this 15th day of June, 2022, Mike Smith. And Becky, they've got that parade this Saturday.
There's Saturday is a parade, and then just a celebration event at Doherty Park that will begin at noon.
Okay. Thank you.
And lots of activities and family-friendly stuff, so
Yeah.
the commissioners,
I plan on attending.
I'll be reading the
Invited.
proclamation, so I think.
and yes,
This
my
will be-
proclamation will
it's
be
a
right
great-
there as well.
I know, Vicki, you've been involved with that, so we appreciate that. Okay, Mark, do you have anything on the administrative business? Commissioners?
No.
If not, I'll go to the consent agenda. Any consent agenda items need to be removed? If not, I'll take a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
Motion and second, any discussion? Commissioner Culberson?
Aye.
Commissioner Cos?
Aye.
I vote aye. Commissioner Smith?
Aye.
Commissioner Stevens?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Formal board action. Consider a motion to approve a funding request for Safe Kids in the amount of $5,000.
I don't see Maureen.
Is anybody here
Hernandez.
to speak on that?
Well, I can speak
Go
to
ahead.
it. I mean, Safe Kids, because I thought Maureen, I hope that we let her know that it was today, but, or we may not. She may have been told that she had to be here at 9:30. I think that could be possible. Safe Kids, a lot of children, well, actually, Leavenworth County has one of the highest rates of SIDS deaths in the state of Kansas. And one of the major reasons for that is parents sleeping in the bed with their children. And a lot of times, parents don't understand the risk associated with sleeping like that because it's kind of what people, it's a snuggly type thing. So, the grant that Maureen is seeking funding for or assistance with is that you can purchase, they're like a little sleeping wedge that parents can have for their infants that you can place the baby in so that you cannot roll over on them accidentally because, and there's a lot of reasons why parents may roll over. Sometimes it's because they're impaired, yes. But others is just somebody's just asleep, they're a deep sleeper, and they just don't know that they have rolled on to their child. And, statistically speaking, they say that it's really healthy to snuggle with your babies and things. And so it prevents injury to newborns and small infants. And then there's also awareness information and packages that can be provided that are provided oftentimes to the people who work with the infant programs. So it's to kind of help with some of the supplies, the materials, there's brochures. There are all these things that can be used to educate young families about the risks associated with sleeping with your small children in the bed and giving them that information. And so these materials would be made available through the like kneecap and through the, what's it called, the parents as teachers and all of those things, so that we can reduce the number of children in our community, because Leavenworth, as I said, is it may be now the number one county for infant deaths, mortality due to SIDS, and as I said, that the main reason when they have kind of done the looking at what happened is that the potential that it was because of sleeping with the parent. So it's just to prevent it. And so I think that's Maureen. That it may be her coming in now. Okay. So, Maureen, I was speaking for you.
You're speaking for me.
Yeah, so come on in.
Sure.
Go ahead. I
Just
think
go right
Vicki
up
did a
here
good job. Go
and-
right ahead.
Okay. So I just was trained. My name's Maureen Hernandez, and I work at Leavenworth County Infant Toddler Program. So I'm the coordinator. We serve kids 0 to 3 in Leavenworth County who have special needs. So I was just trained as a sleep instructor for Leavenworth County. There's a few DCF workers that are also trained for safe sleep instructors. And this initiative is across Kansas to prevent SIDS in our county. Our county is 7% deaths per 100,000 births. We're just over Wyandotte County in SIDS deaths in our county. So this initiative is just alone on their back in a clutter-free crib. What I've come to you all for is to be able to, I'm out there training the community. I'm doing a 30-minute training with the EMS, the fire department, parents as teachers, early Head Start. my staff to train them so they can train families and how to have safe sleep for their kids. So what I'd really like to do is we would like to purchase some cribs, safe sleep cribs and sleepers for families who can't afford those. Those are about $50 to $60 for a crib. And the initiative would be if I got a referral from, let's say, EMS, and they went out and they saw an unsafe sleep environment for an infant, they would make a referral to us. We would go out and do a demonstration for that family and give them a crib that's safe and also a safe sleep sack. So this is what I've just asked for $5,000 to start our group to be able to buy some cribs and sleep sacks for our community. Is there any questions that you have?
How do you get your funding?
How do I get my funding for infant toddler?
No, for the whole thing, yeah.
We don't have funding. So right now I'm just applying for grants in the community to buy safe sleep beds and sacks. Greenbush is my employer, and they sent me to the training.
That's what I was looking for. Okay.
So I'm representing Leavenworth County.
Okay.
Because we work with infants and toddlers already, we're home visitors, so we're already seeing what's happening in the home. And so we can also do that education with families as well. I've gotten a $500 grant from the Leavenworth Child Abuse Prevention Council, so I'm going to use those funds for cribs and safe sleep sacks. But the funding will be primarily to provide a safe sleep environment for families and
Education,
yeah. They're going to have to take a pre-test and a post-test.
Yeah.
I just finished training the EMS, and it's a 30-minute training, and they had to take a pre-test and a post-test. So I'm on my way to the fire department and the police department.
As a police officer for over 20 years, I worked a few of those out in Lansing.
Yes.
They are devastating. And I think what I saw when I did that was, it could have been the cribs, but it was just what Vicki was talking about before you walked in. They just snuggle and they roll over. And that's one of the saddest things I've seen. But after saying that, Mark, where's funding for something like that? Or is there?
Well, Commissioners, you have a little bit of discretionary funding within your budget. I think we've allocated some of that already. But it's $5,000, if you decided that's what you wanted to spend, I'm sure we could find it.
Okay, that's all I need to hear. Okay, any questions for her?
I think it's also important to know that Maureen is going to the Lions, to the Rotary. She's not just coming to Leavenworth County. She's reaching out across Leavenworth County to also help with this funding. And it was really pretty devastating when I read also that Leavenworth County is the third highest county in the state of Kansas, for this devastating death that these babies, And so I thought that was, it made an impact on me to hear that, and then to hear Mike speak about what he saw personally.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it is impactful, and
How do you
being a mother, being a grandmother, you just realize the importance of.
And I have two friends that, when I was younger, that lost their babies to SIDS. And it's just
I've had
devastating.
4 close encounters to this type of death.
Yeah, I understand. How do you get the word out so you can make sure the training gets to the people it needs to be?
So what I'm doing is I'm just setting up trainings with community partners. I've already set up a training with Lions. I'm going to go to all the fire departments, the police department, because they're the first on the scene.
Yeah.
And even if they're going there for a stroke victim, let's say, they can still see what's happening in the home. They got their eyes, they can see a dangerous sleeping situation, and they can make a referral to us with parent consent. We are home visitors, and I have families that say they sleep with their babies all the time.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
But now I've got the data to prove it. Look, here's the data. And now you can choose to sleep with your baby, but our data says that, 66% of those babies were smothered in bed with their families. And I have, we have some pictures to show.
Yeah.
So it's pretty devastating. It's pretty scary, but yet it's just.
All you can do is educate.
Yeah, we have to educate
Okay.
and provide support. And
Okay. Is there any more questions?
No, I agree with the training, the education, because you have to
I agree, Mark.
have to have training to get a driver's license. You don't have to have any to be a parent. So if we can if you can get some training for people to be parents, I'm all for it.
Okay,
As long as we got a place for it, and you can look at numbers. We can debate that all day long because like we talked about last week about the autopsies, we have to pay for them.
Yeah, no.
So anything we can do to prevent these.
That's a lot cheaper than an autopsy, too.
Yeah.
It totally is. They have to do a complete autopsy
Yes.
and an examination of the scene and medical history. And
Well, after that, I'd make a motion to approve funding request for Safe Kids in the amount of $5,000.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Any more discussion? Commissioner Culberson?
Aye.
Commissioner Cos?
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Smith?
Aye.
Commissioner Mike Stevens?
Aye.
All right. Thank you for coming up here,
Maureen.
both of you.
thank you.
Thank you stepping in.
Thanks, Janet.
All right. Need to consider a motion to award bid for K&W Underground for the Fiber Loop project, the amount not to exceed $667,980. Good morning.
Good morning.
I didn't see you back there.
Hi.
I now.
He's invisible. Asking for that kind of money.
Go ahead.
Well, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. We had 2 bids received for the Fiber Loop project. K&W Underground was the low bid. Both bids were acceptable, so the issue was the money. Low bid is the recommendation. So I'm seeking the board award this project to K&W Underground.
And I know we've already had a lot of discussion on this from you in the past. Is any questions?
Lucky to get anybody to bid.
Yeah, no one is. There's questions, but I'll look for a motion.
Motion to approve a multi-discharge variant. Oh, whoops, I'm on the wrong one. Sorry about that. Motion to approve, that's when I saw that. The contract with, the bid for K&W Underground for the Fiber Loop project in the amount not to exceed $667,980.
I'll second it.
Motion is second. Any more discussion? Commissioner Culberson?
Aye.
Cos?
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Smith? Commissioner Stevens?
Aye.
Thanks, Mike. All right.
Thanks, Larry.
Didn't want you to get too comfortable.
All right. Thank you, Larry.
Now I'm on errands.
Consider a motion to approve multi-discharge variant MDV program for sewer district number 1.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
As you know, we do have sewer districts. As KDHD tightens regulations on it, we are held to same standards as treatment plants. This is after KDHD had reviewed it, they had reviewed our permit. They determined that we cannot reach our ammonia limits with the new EPA 2013 limits that they're required. With this, they have a variant which they are offering us to sign. With this variant comes 6 clauses with it that they want us to look at. 1, we have to keep a certified operator. We have 2, we'll have 3 shortly. The permit is to provide reasonable and adequate maintenance, which we do maintenance on the facility regularly. Maintain and operation the performance of the lagoon to comply with our standard of secondary limits. Not a problem. Skipping down, number 6 is the one that I wanted to make you guys aware of. Number 6 is when the population and pollutant load exceeds 85% of the rated capacity as shown on the NPDES permit issued to the discharging wastewater treatment lagoon permittee, the permit shall begin planning process for expansion of lagoon facility by completion of engineering study and implementing a plan to collect and save money for expansion of the lagoon and or upgrade of the treatment process in conjunction with its capacity expansion. KDHD will notify us when we hit that based off of our sampling. This is more a precursor to give you guys a heads up that sooner or later it's coming.
But you're doing studies right now, right?
Well, we have to take all of our depths and measurements. We have done studies on. We've worked with the city of Lansing once to see what the cost was for the expansion out there that has been presented to you. This sewer district is our farthest out away from cities. And if you look at the water tables on it as well, it's also one that it sits over a hill. So
Yeah.
when we look at it, there's no easy way for a gravity feed.
No, you have
So
to-
this sewer district will be one of our last that we actually get rid of. We need Lansing to expand west. So if we can,
They're trying.
if we can expand them west, that'd be great.
You think it might be the last one we get rid of. It's not going to be our choice, so.
Correct. But basically, this was to inform you guys. As the permit holder, I have to sign it.
Right.
I don't
So-
remember any of the other sewer districts having any variance.
Well, the other sewer districts that we have currently haven't had to go through the updated EPA regulations. Now, the ones that we still have, Ginger Creek and that, like the flow on that one, we get it's better. High Crest, where it sits, where it's surrounded, the lagoons, and that we're just getting high ammonia out of that one.
Okay.
What percent are we setting at right now? Do you
On
know?
what?
On this 85% population pollutant loading, do we know?
That High Crest is pretty much built out completely, so I think they have like 3 lots left. That's it. So I don't see us expanding above that 85% anytime soon.
What kind of a time frame
Yeah, good question.
are we looking at?
For having a study in that,
Mhm.
they'll notify us when we get close to that, and then I believe you get 12 to 18 months to complete your study to start working towards it. As long as you're showing your due diligence to KDHD that you're
Yeah.
working towards what they
Yeah.
want, they're very cooperative with working with you.
Yeah.
Any idea or
No, sir.
no?
See, these are all on grinder pumps, too.
Yeah.
Yes. High Crest is set on a grinder pump, so everything is pumped to the lagoon. And then you have a 3-cell system that we use wind, sunlight, and time to help settles.
I understand that.
And you could actually clean these things out.
That part of that in there is the sludge, checking your sludge every sludge buildup depth at least once every 10 years, which we've done sludge testing, and we know you can shut a cell down, do a sludge treatment, take it, get rid of it, make sure your liner's good, and then start back over. That would probably be our first before we ever get to the 85%.
Aaron, one thing too, Lansing, when I was down in, just for, as their interim, we're working with the folks. It's about 18 months, but they really worked well, especially when you get surprised. And you've got something, as long as you're showing that you're making progress, they'll work with you. So I guess the answer to that one question, Mike, was a good question, is going to be alone 18 months, I assume. But it's
Let's,
good to be put on notice.
Example of so many things here, we find that there's things that could be hidden costs coming down the road.
But sewer districts,
Yeah.
sewer districts are supposed to be self-supporting. They're not technically on our dime. They are supposed to be self-supported. So people that live in that sewer district would be footing the bill for that.
I know, but you can't.
Yeah.
Once it hits a certain
Understood.
level,
Yeah.
Yes. Understood. So
And things tend to change on that all the time on the requirements and the inspections and on the lab work, stuff like that you have to check on. See, like every year when you go to build one, there's a new one that's coming up on it. But we've been put on notice. Okay, any other questions? Do we need a motion on this?
yes.
Okay. Somebody want to give me a motion on that?
All right. I move that we approve the multi-discharge variant MDV program for Sewer District 1.
second.
Motion and second. Any more discussion? None, I'll call it roll. Commissioner Culberson?
Aye.
Mr. Cos?
Aye.
I vote aye. Commissioner Smith?
Aye.
Commissioner Stevens?
Aye.
All right. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
We do need to get rid of these things somehow, some way.
Yeah.
They need to be out of the sewer district business.
Okay, next item is consider a motion to approve the contract with Kimberly and Horn for the Regional Transportation and Capital Improvement Plan in amount not to exceed $150,000. Good morning.
Morning, Commissioners. Today, for your consideration, we do have the contract with Kimberly Horn. We have gone through months and months of selection committees and review processes. We did sign the 5-party agreement with all of the cities. for reimbursement of the portion of the cost of this study. We also then had a secondary agreement with KDOT as a reimbursement for these studies. We are considered a local program administrator for this, and so we will be responsible for the contracting of this project, and then the project will then be paid for by the county. The county will then get reimbursed through submittals from each city, the amount shown, and from KDOT. So the county cost of this project is $150,000. In total, it is a $580,000 study.
And it was a budgeted item that we did before back. Okay.
And this is a good thing because then it gives us a guideline to look at the future, how we want to prioritize and where we want to invest in order, and then in cooperation with all of our other partners in the county to make those, to establish those priorities so that, and we're long overdue to have a transportation plan for Leavenworth County. I mean, actually, we should have had one a long time ago.
It's just matching funds. It's just gets you one step up.
Yeah.
We can't do anything without matching funds.
Right, and we need to, make
And
sure
partners.
that we, right.
Right.
Okay, any other questions, concerns? We spoke about this before.
I've been to a lot of meetings on this.
Yeah.
Being spoken about.
Yeah.
I would just make one comment, and
Go ahead, Mike.
I'd compliment Bill for his leadership on bringing the committee along and proposing the different organizations. And Kimberly Horn's what the county had suggested, and I think that we showed leadership, and I think that's what we want the county to show leadership in the area of economic development and transportation, and maybe we can get some of our KDOT funding that we haven't gotten in the past.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to point out. A lot of people don't understand without one of these studies, we don't qualify for a lot of funding. So you just about have to have one. And like Doug said, this is another can that got kicked down the street that we need to pick up.
And if Leavenworth County prioritizes the same project that Leavenworth City, Lansing City, Baser City, Tonganoxie all prioritize, and we're all on the same page, the likelihood of us receiving those funds goes up.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, I'll take a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the contract with Kimberly Horn for the Regional Transportation Capital Improvement Plan in the amount not to exceed $150,000.
Second?
Motion and second. Any more discussion? Commissioner Culberson?
Aye.
Commissioner Cos?
Aye.
I'm voting aye. Commissioner Smith?
Aye.
Commissioner Stevens?
Aye.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Now you got the next one. Consider a motion to approve agreement with Bennett in addressing design issues on Bridge SH30.
Yes, Commissioners, today this is a agreement with Benish where they are acknowledging design errors within their design of SH30. Immediately following the completion of the project, we had bowing of some of the sheet pile along the head wall and wing wall sections of the bridge. It took quite a bit of work in order to get to a point where they would accept the responsibility for those. Ultimately, the issue was a lack of cross bracing. The height of the head wall was too tall for the amount of cross bracing that they designed into it. It did not meet the load rating or the design criteria that was set forth by their contract. As you guys know, this is just one of a multitude of issues we've had with this firm over the past 3 years. We are currently in construction on 2 other structures, one of which is a similar type design where this additional cross bracing has already been addressed and it was added just prior to the bidding of the structure. And then the second one is the E18 structure, and it's a haunch slab concrete bridge. So therefore it didn't have the same type of design, so we didn't have to worry about it. This agreement is for $20,080, not of county money.
That's the key. Not of county money. Any questions?
It's pretty disappointing. built a new bridge. I guess it's anybody can build a bridge. It takes an engineer to build one that'll hold exactly 80,000 pounds, and this one's not going to do that.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Already bowing.
Yeah.
On the head wall. Come on.
You make a motion?
Sure. Consider a motion to approve the agreement with Benish addressing the design flaws on Bridge SH30.
Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? Commissioner Culberson?
Aye.
Commissioner Collins?
Aye.
I vote aye. Commissioner Smith?
Aye.
And Commissioner Stephen?
Aye.
All right.
That didn't last ribbon cutting, Mike.
I know, that's
Mike's
bad.
area.
Bad.
Hey, Mr. Knoll, how, with all this fiber getting run through the county, are we having any issues? Because early on, I knew there was a lot of water lines getting cut and different things like that.
Yeah, we're having issues all over the place with fiber installations. The process is extremely slow. Their contractors don't stay at the edge of the right-of-way where they were supposed to be located at all times, so we're constantly running out and requiring them to stop work and then having to contact their the contractor, not the subcontractor who's doing the work, and then continuously check back over the course of several weeks to make sure that they are correcting the issues that they have created. But it seems to be that they go with a contractor. That contractor starts out all right, and then as they've done more work, they get sloppier, and then they fire that contractor, and another contractor comes. So, yes, we've had a lot of issues.
So, but there's bonds in place, everything's good.
Yeah, they have bonds in place, and it's primarily Midco and AT&T, and the AT&T and Midco representatives, the point of contact is the project managers for those, have been very responsive of trying to get back out. They've always showed back up or driven, in some cases, clear from South Dakota on a day's notice in order to address some of the issues that I've sent them pictures of. The corrective action has sometimes taken 2 to 3 weeks before their subcontractor gets back out there and gets the work done. But the actual bonded companies of Midco and AT&T have been responsive to the majority of it. It's the subcontractors that when you show up on site and require them to stop working or ask them to fix something while they're there that we've had the most issues with. So they are bonded.
So that's taken a lot of staff's time to
bunch.
follow up on all this.
And I'm sure that it will,
It's too bad.
where they hit sandstone in the south part of the county, that's where they've really torn up some ditches and stuff. And they have seeded it, but I'm sure that seeding will either not come up or die after it does come up. And so we will have some continual issues of maintenance after the project, I'm sure, in the coming year or two, based upon the fact that they did this project.
Okay. Everybody wants fiber run, high-speed internet and everything. And,
It takes time.
they threw a lot of money out there. And so,
It's a lot of miles. I don't have the total here, but it's well over 100, I think, that they're putting in between AT&T and Midco. I mean, it's just the entire south part of the county almost. It has all of the dust abatement roads and the gravel roads.
It's funny you mentioned that map I just sent you guys about that washed out ditch was from fiber optics being buried and not put back like it should have been.
And they're not backfilling. Well, if they do backfill, they just don't get it compacted.
and it rains and it just runs right
Yeah, it's an 8-foot crater right now.
Yeah. I think that's a call.
It is taking a lot of time up.
Well, bad.
Okay, thank you.
On the
Go ahead.
other hand, a comment on that is when we did our comprehensive plan meetings and all the charrettes and everything, one of the number one issues that came up was improving our internet service out in the rural areas. And this is really progress. Sometimes progress hurts a little to get the infrastructure put in place, but this is really a good thing.
But when it comes to tearing up the roads,
That's a bad thing.
it's bad. Especially if it's a dust abatement road, and we just did it.
Yeah.
Especially when you can bore under it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and then like that one, we get stuck fixing it later
Yeah.
on it on our dime.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think
Thank you, Bill.
Okay, I'm going to go to public comment, and I think, Brian, did you want to go first, sir?
Sure.
Okay. Reminder, everybody, 5 minutes, and please identify yourself and just let us know where you want it. Let us know where you live if you want to.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
So my name's Brian Zesker. I live at 24305 Loring Road. So let's get to know me and before we get into the issues here. So who am I? I served the U.S. Army for 26 years. I was an Apache pilot. I retired as a major, and now own a farm winery. What did the Army teach me? It taught me core values: leadership, decision-making, loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. We live those Army values, and we expect those who serve the county in the roles to have some type of those values too. So that's what brings me to our concerns. Confusion about SUPs, agriculture, and agritourism. Assess values on property in the county. And the discrimination practices, lack of rules, regulations, and consistency related to the SUPs. Examples of SUPs from 2016. I have a copy here that we printed off from the county website. Discrimination with the use of impact fees as it applies to or from daycares to lawn care companies and those in between are all being charged random various amounts to operate. Now, on the surface, somebody would say, well, they're all different, but they're not. And the discrepancies are unexplainable. So, is it just, and can we allow this to continue? We'll see. To talk specifically about our farm winery, we were charged $8,117 in June of 2020 to begin operations for a 10-year permit. $8,117. Let's remember that fee. Another farm winery, just a quarter mile down the road, has been operating for 2 years without a SUP, with no issues. How is that? There are actually 3 other farm wineries here in Leavenworth County that all have various SUPs that they're not the same, nor do any of us need a SUP. But we'll get to that. So there's another farm about a half mile to a mile down the road. You might have seen it. It's been on national news before. It raises some sunflowers. They were given their SUP money back and recognized as a agritourism in 2021. Think about that. Just about the same time we submitted and were charged $8,117 for our SUP. It was recognized by the county and the county councilor as a agritourism and was given their money back. We had another farm winery just recently got 20-year SUP, 0 amount. Now we acknowledge they had already had an SUP, but here we are giving extensions for 20 years. Then our farm winery, $8,117 in June of 2020 to begin our permit. Does this sound right or fair? The largest amount charged to anyone since 2016 for traffic impact fee when other businesses are making a greater impact and charged half as much as we have. 2 pages here, and let's get to some of those interesting other SUPs. We are a registered agritourism and agricultural business entity with inside Kansas for the last 4 years. Your legal counsel here has said he wants to take this to district court. How do the taxpayers feel about spending more tax money to defend something that doesn't need to be defended?
Okay. Sir, could you wrap up? My next person
Time's up.
come along and do it.
Sure.
Okay. Hey, thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Appreciate your comments, sir. Gina? I think I got that right. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Gina Montalbano at 24305 Loring Road, and I yield my time to Brian Zesker.
Okay. Come on, Brian. You got 5 more.
Yep. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
So let's talk about those examples. A trash disposal company less than 5 miles away from us operates 5 days a week, was charged $4,560 for a 20-year SUP. Runs trash trucks 5 days a week, got double the amount of time and half as much as what a brand new farm winery that doesn't need it was charged. A landfill got an SUP for $4,714 for 10 years. Half as much as what a brand new farm winery was charged. I want to see the math. I want to see how you can justify any of this. There's not a way. Statute and precedents has set the tone for making decisions, and they are on our side. We do not need a SUP. Agriculture and agritourism does not need a SUP. The state of Kansas agriculture has said it. So we did the right thing. We asked for an SUP. We were led down the wrong road. We then asked for our money back a year later. We got no answer from the email that we sent to Planning and Zoning and to the president of Leavenworth County Commissioners at the time. Nothing but to just be ignored. Where is that leadership, the fairness with agriculture entities? Where is the guidance from legal statute and the Kansas presidents that should be guiding the decisions that should be made by Leavenworth County? I'm here today to bring that discrimination to public record. Yes, Leavenworth County Commissioners are overtly discriminating against us, whether it's agriculture, agritourism, or small businesses. I am here to inform and rally the other community members like us with all these SUPs. Some who have SUPs for farms that don't even need them. So this was all written 2 weeks ago. In closing, in the past 2 weeks, we've been contacted by 3 other entities that either have lawyers or are getting lawyers that have the same issues. One of which we didn't even realize was going on until I met her. We value the community. We want to be a part of the community. But if we're going to talk about leadership and values, where is the leadership on this? Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Okay, Edward, did you want to go next, Ed? Okay, come on up, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Ed Irvin, 13561 246th Street. Thank you, commissioners, staff, and public. It was a couple weeks ago here that I was up here before, and I just want to give some real quick statistics here. And these statistics are from the Kansas Department of Agriculture from Leavenworth County as of August 20th, 2021. And the data originated with the USDA in 2017, but there are 1,213 farms here in Leavenworth County. And in this model, there were 28 agricultural sectors that were listed that had a direct impact of $161 million, okay? And it accounted for 1,806 jobs, and that can't be ignored. I want to mention that the value of these products that these farms were putting out was an average of $36,000 per farm, and the net income from the farm, $2,281. And I didn't make these up. This is directly from the USDA. So basically, farming is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Okay, the farms in this county need help from the commission, from the county, and there are a lot of people that are in agriculture that are struggling. Let's not make it harder on these farms attempting to make a living on the farm. Going back here a couple weeks ago, Commissioner Stephen asked a really good question, and he asked if I thought that if our agritourism farm wasn't exempt from the land use and zoning regulations of the county, and I answered yes. But I want to clarify that with you again here this morning, real briefly. Number one, the Director of Planning and Zoning, per the County Councilor on July 20th of 2021, determined that since my associate agritourism farm here in Leavenworth County was considered an agritourism, that it did not need a special use permit, and they returned their $300 application fee. I agree with that determination because it's based on state statute 192921. Number two, the county councilor stated on August 19th of 2021 in an email that the county will attempt to resolve its public safety concerns with the hosting party, which was my wife and I's farm winery, events outside of the land use and zoning regulations. And I agree with the county councilor and believe that his response follows state statute 192921. Based on these communications from the county, there will be no litigation as issue has been decided administratively here in Leavenworth County. We cannot have it both ways. Now, since KSA 192921 has been in existence since 1939, the question is, why did the county wait till 2021 to make a determination about agritourism? The situation on agritourism needs to be straightened up here in the county to comply with the laws that have been on the books for years at the state level. With the employee and commissioner turnover in the last years, the ball was dropped on agritourism, plain and simple. Based on the emails that I have, the county has recognized that agritourism exists in Leavenworth County, but it's a little bit late, okay? But the recognition has occurred. People need to be treated without discriminations and follow the state laws. Not when they're discovered, but when the state law was written. Up to this point, it has not happened in its entirety on agritourism. We need a simple board action with a motion and a second from the Board of County Commissioners to return all application fees and traffic impact fees to any certified agritourism location in this county that were illegally collected. This needs to be done ASAP to rectify the situation. Take care of what the county did not keep up with over the years. It is not the fault of the citizens of this county that the commission and the public servants that run this county have not kept up with the state laws over time. I recommend that this Board of County Commissioners take this action that I have suggested to clean up this now. Let's keep the dollars at home here in Leavenworth County and embrace agritourism and not fight it. Agriculture is agriculture. Thank you.
Could you read that, what your proposal was again, that you want us to do?
Yeah, okay. Yes, Commissioner Stephen. I said we need a simple board action with a motion and a second from the Board of County Commissioners to return all application fees and traffic impact fees that any certified agritourism location, I would say certified agritourism location in this county that were illegally collected.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Cindy, good morning.
I'm
I'm Cindy Irvin, and I'm just going to go over a couple things here. I'm just want to, all farming and agriculture is commercial. And I think that's been some of the problems because everybody's selling something. You got your oats, you got your corn, your soybeans, your cattle, milk. We are selling in agriculture wine, tomatoes, peppers, pumpkins, sunflowers. And so we're selling something, and sometimes it's just an experience that they're selling, or maybe even a service like baling hay, or some kind of hunting preserve. These are all agricultural experiences, and they're all this agriculture is protected by Kansas statute. Agritourism is a certified form of agriculture, and it recommends that the farmers in this and agritourism get liability insurance, plus they require warning signs which provide some liability coverage. So agritourism sites charge and collect retail sales tax. If a farm has 10 grapevines and the state says it's agritourism and certifies it, then it is agritourism. We don't need to be looking around to say, no, it's not. If the state says it is, it is. The impact fees and application fees that have been unlawfully obtained due to failing to keep up with Kansas statutes need to be returned to Leavenworth County agritourism locations. That's all I have.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, usually I don't make a statement.
One more public comment.
Yeah, I know, but I want to address this first. Usually I don't make a statement, but after something like this, but after listening to all these things, I've got a lot more questions than I had before. And I'm going to sit down with David, you, and Mark, and the planning camp just to get those answers so I'm satisfied with them. Because some of these things I think I understand, but I want to be completely clear before I decide to go a direction that affects people one way or the other. So that's my comment on that, and I'll leave it alone. Okay?
I do have a question for our county counselor. On agritourism itself, my understanding is that if you have an agritourism entity, you are producing the product from your land and you're selling it to the public, and it's produced on your land.
That is one of the criteria.
If you bring product in from outside, and now it's on your land, and now you're producing something, does that change whether it's agritourism or not?
Commissioner, whether you meet agritourism is dependent on facts. So each case is going to be fact dependent. So if I brought, say, flaxseed into my property and produced flaxseed oil, the question would be, am I industrial? Is that an agricultural production? And it really depends on the scope of what I'm doing. If it's purely processing, it's probably going to be industrial or commercial, not agricultural. If I actually grew the flax on my property, harvested the seed and pressed the oil, the growing and harvesting would certainly be agricultural. It's a question whether the processing would be. So the issue is that these are fact-dependent situations. It's absolutely clear Leavenworth County does not have any authority to regulate agricultural activities, nor have we regulated agricultural activities. However, there are exceptions in state law with respect to what constitutes agricultural activities, are buildings that are used as residence agriculture. In that case, the answer is no. So it really is fact dependent. But the issue of what meets the definition of the exclusion, local regulation under agritourism is somewhat unsettled, and we're hopeful it'll be clarified.
And I guess one of the difficulties that I have is when I get on the Department of Commerce agritourism website and it look at their frequently asked questions, and this is from the state of Kansas. One of the questions is, by being registered with the agritourism program, do I have to comply with county regulations? And the answer the state gives is yes. By becoming a registered member of the Agritourism program, you must still follow and comply with county laws and regulations. And so that is from the state of Kansas, Department of Agriculture, or Department of Commerce, Agritourism Division. So when I'm being told, the problem is if we exempt one category of people from impact fees, then that puts the burden on everybody else that's paying impact fees. So that, I think you're right. It needs to be fleshed out, but this is the answer from the state of Kansas.
Okay.
That's why I wanted a word session.
Yeah. I'm not so sure that down the line that's not a bad idea. And we're going to go on. We're going to move on now. I appreciate it, everybody. Mr. Clump, your turn, sir.
I don't know. First of all, I wanted to be under the 3 minutes.
You get 5.
You get 5.
If you shove me under the 5, that's a penalty.
We knew you could do it.
So do I get 3 plus 5?
Oh, boy.
Nice try, Louis.
See how government operates? And I've already had 2 questions. No, my wife didn't do this. And the masculine thing would have been to say, you ought to see the other guy. But the real truth is, when you're born, you have 2 mothers. The one, strictly by the rules, that's Mother Nature. And that's who I'm fighting, Mother Nature. She's trying to take me with cancer, but she's got 2039 is when I'm supposed to die. So I get 5 minutes. God dang it, I had it all down to 3 minutes. My name is Louis A. Klimp, Jr. I prefer Louis. I heard him mention, 1939? They mentioned the word 39. There's nobody here except me born before 39. So I thought it was interesting in the, you had a budget study session on the budget, and I thought it was interesting because everybody's asking for money. Gave 5 here and 5 there, and just like auctioning it at all. There are 20 to 30 people, entities asking for money. Dogs, cats, the best one is our veterans, okay? There must be 20 or 30 of them out there. If I wasn't paying all these taxes, I could afford them all. But I do have to pay my taxes. So, my largest competitor is the county. Not these other many warehouses that all started because of me. It is the county. My property taxes, ungodly. Next is the federal and the state. They come along. You got a 15% average increase in the percentage. In 1978, first time I was a county commissioner, I tried to get people not to talk about mill levies. Some of these people know what a mill levy is, but most people out here do not know what a mill levy is. Now, that's been going on since 78, and I come in usually once a year or once at budget time and say, let's talk about money. Mill levy goes downstairs to the clerk. You spend $1 million this year on the budget, or last year, and now you're going to spend $2 million. Then you explain why it's gone up. Please, don't make it go on any longer. 78, that's what, 23, 22, that's 55 years. To get to something where the average person understands. So if we can talk about dollars, it'd be much better. Now, our greatest industry that nobody's recognizing, us 1930s people are recognizing, and if we got some 20s, it is the history of Leavenworth County. Now, I noticed a guy, God bless his heart, he said Nicodemus was and he was at the city meeting, is the oldest city in the state of Kansas. Now, see what false information he put out there? They actually pulled up the minutes to see what word was left out, if any word was left out. You need to study Nicodemus, because I'm not here to talk about Nicodemus. It's a religious term, but why that town was named Nicodemus, somebody else will have to explain. It won't be me. But he said, and Nicodemus started in 1877. Well, what happened to 1855? Oh, that was Leavenworth, wasn't it? So, you have $50,000. I'm going to go back to our greatest industry. $50,000, and you divided it up on 7, and you gave each one $7,100, which is a good political way of doing it, because everybody lives in a place where there's a museum, and you want somehow to help your people in your area, and that's good. That's the way it should be. But it doesn't have to be $50,000. It could be $150,000. You don't have to spend it all. Somebody's going to come along in this industry. When anybody gets to focusing on it, the prison needs to be turned into a museum. The next prison needs to be turned into a museum. It's a massive. When they say you're going to Leavenworth, they don't mean Alcatraz or anywhere else. They mean Fort Leavenworth, or they mean Leavenworth Federal Pen. We got a history, and we're not moving on it. So as I said, you could put 150 in there, and if nobody comes along with a special request, I know the Carroll Mansion is talking about expanding, and I'm a member of the Carroll. I'm theoretically a member of the other 3 in town. I say theoretically, that's a long story. But our history is so important. You need a museum committee. You need cost sharing by the museums. The telephone book said Parker, Lansing, Lama, LCH Society, Carroll Harvey, Richard Allen, Tonganoxie, Baser, the Little Prairie Church. Who knows how many other museums there are? It is extremely important. Only one museum makes money. The Parker. So
You've taken your go finish up. Go ahead, Mr. Clem.
Parker's the only one that makes money. They work their tushes off. The last statement is the most important statement I'm going to make today. We need volunteers for our museums. So, as Bobby Knight would say, have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Okay, folks, I think that clears our land. We'll go ahead and do the council members. Jeff, do you have anything?
No.
Vicki?
No. Well, we just need to remind people that there is the Saturday's event.
Yeah.
And take time to attend, because
And I
there
think
will
you
be
had
a lot of
you
activities.
had a lot of events out there, too, didn't you? Have a lot
Yeah,
of-
there's a lot of things going on for young kids, for families, so
12 o'clock.
12 o'clock
Okay. Sounds like fun.
at Doherty Park.
Yeah. We're here helping you, Vicki. Okay, I have nothing. Mr. Doug?
I'm going to attend Fairmount Township's budget work session tonight.
Anything else? Mike?
I've got a couple things.
Right ahead.
On Saturday at 8:30 a.m., a meeting at the Leavenworth State Fishing Lake, working in conjunction with Rural Leavenworth, Inc. We're doing a lake cleanup, and the public is invited to come out, bring trash bags, afterwards we're doing a picnic, bring a dish, and we're just going to get the fishing lake all picked up.
Volunteers we're talking about.
Volunteers. Yeah, no money involved. I visited with George from Tonganoxie and explained to him about our decision on the ARPA funds. I visited with Kane City of Linwood about several issues, including a discussion about quiet zones. There's some issue of trying to bring a quiet zone in there, and had David do a little research, and it's quite an involved process. I had no idea there were so many requirements, but there's some folks down in Linwood that are interested in having a quiet zone, so they're going to kind of.
What's that consist of?
Well, you have to reinforce the grade crossings have to be reinforced, and there has to be a special place for the pedestrian traffic to make sure that the pedestrian traffic is blocked. and then the locomotives don't have to
Oh,
blow
it's a
blow their-
railroad thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
then they don't have to blow their whistle.
Okay, I didn't know what you were quiet zone.
Oh, it could be a quiet place from the movie. You know?
Oh, thanks.
So anyway, that's something going on in Linwood.
What's Johnson County do?
They had to reinforce each of the crossings had to be
so they did do that.
right, and it's costly, but it's possible that there's some state funding or maybe some federal
Railroad
funding.
don't have to pay for it.
Well, the railroad never wants to pay for anything, so.
All right. I didn't know we were talking about.
So that's anyway. That's what a lady from Linwood brought that to my attention and is working with the city down there on that. And then I did a little research on the tourism. I have a list of the agritourism. There's 15 of them that we have approved and we have supported, and our comprehensive plan does call for support for agritourism, and that's what the folks in the community have supported, and that's what this commission has supported. And I just did a little review of that this week as well. So.
And, one thing I forgot to mention, we had the county employee cookout last week. I think, Mark, you said it's the biggest turnout we had, and people don't realize we have over 400 and something employees out here. And for all the people that volunteered and stuff, the free stuff, and just to come out and do the time, it was well attended, and I just like to appreciate and tell the county employees how much they're appreciated and what they do, because sometimes it goes unnoticed. Like one article said, it's the people behind the scenes a lot of times that's doing a lot of the lifting. So hats off to all of them.
I think we need to recognize Commissioner Cos for lifting the bill.
Yeah.
And Commissioner Smith.
Not as much as you did.
It was my pleasure.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate our employees because
no tax
dollars. That's what runs this place.
I very much appreciate our employees.
Well, you said we have over 400 employees. I think you meant we have over 400 positions.
Yeah.
I don't think we have all those positions filled right now.
Well, some of them were eating like there was 800
Well,
years.
I cooked burgers and hot dogs. But we had a lot of good volunteer staff coming out to help cook and set up and do all of those things. There was games and activities, and we had participation from across the street at the Justice Center, the Sheriff's Department, County Attorney. I mean, I think that it was just a really well attended and received event, and I was thrilled that we could finally get out of COVID and do something with staff again. So
absolutely. Well, Vicki, thank you for taking care of that. No tax dollars, so I'm feeling even better about that. But sometimes, though, many employees, you don't get to see them very often. So this is always a time to come together and have a good meeting. So I appreciate everybody that's involved in that. With that, I'd like, Mark, do you have anything?
When are they closing 16, Highway 16?
2023.
Oh.
April of 2023.
Yeah.
It'll be
it's
a while.
year.
Oh, okay.
It sounds like it's coming soon.
Yeah,
I
it's
thought
a year
it
off.
was pretty soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to be talking about, but, we got all these projects coming up on these bridges and different things. And, we had voted to close George Road, I believe it was, correct? When that project
through traffic.
Yeah, to through traffic,
Yeah.
to try to keep people from being. I just wonder if that's something we shouldn't do for all of these projects we got. I know we're going to have legal detours, but most people try to take and we're not going to be paving any roads. So, I know we're not going to be able to do anything, but maybe we could pick, a road that looks like more people's going to use, or if the traffic count doubles or something, that we could just go ahead and close it to local traffic only on all these. Because I know we don't have all paved, well, I'm sure we're going to use paved detours, but most people don't use them when it comes to the shortest possible route.
They're closed to through
Is that
traffic
something we have to do on each road, or can we authorize our public works folks to have discretion to do that?
Detours could be done administratively.
Well, I'm just saying the 16, and then we got 2023. We also have Tongview Road, and we got one road that's going to be a cut through on Tongview Road, would be Mitchell. It goes from County Road 5 to
That'll be
9.
not so good.
just close to through traffic, just to
Right.
slow down the amount of.
Do something like that, and if there's similar situations on different bridges, I know we got Fairmount Road Bridge coming up, that'd be ST, it's in Stranger Township, so it'd be ST 100. And right before the bridge, you got a gravel road 179 to go south.
And I know on 16 Highway, we had that meeting, and KDOT they're visiting with Bill, but preliminarily they've agreed to do the signage off of the road and maintain that. That would benefit the county a lot if they.
Yeah, because signs don't stay up, barricades don't stay up.
Yeah.
So if we can get them to help us.
What was the official detour on that?
Oh, it's a big, long. Well,
big
the
loop.
official detour is a big loop almost back to Oskaloosa.
Well,
But,
that's
but
progress.
yeah.
The bridge had a lot longer than
Once
that.
the road there by Helen's Hilltop
parallel
will eventually open, and then they can
Parallel, take
route
you through the state
that
line.
way. But that'll be like halfway through the project.
Then you have to have another cleanup day.
Oh boy.
Okay, if there's nothing else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Coulson?
Aye.
Aye. Smith, Kimberly, Stephen. We are adjourned. Thank you, folks.